The thing is like from my perspective, there was very little. Um, well, I mean, I guess that's just the way it goes. If people don't like you, they don't like you, and they don't want to say shit to you at all. Which doesn't make any sense because it felt like we were getting along pretty fine. Felt like we were getting along fine. We just couldn't figure out how to play the game together. But then I guess like people just want to make the game, everything just weird. Just want to make it something that it's not. That's the only thing I can say from my perspective. I felt like I was just trying myself to figure out what we needed to do. I also should have clarified that it wasn't just like H chats necessarily, but like just Discord DMs and messaging other players from other teams. Still just like applies. This is something that I didn't even really know about either throughout. It was just something that I necessarily learned later on about the frequency of it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is like, I get on, I play the game with my team in scrims, try to talk over some stuff. I get the fuck off the game. And I'm not just messaging other people regularly about my own team. It just seems to be a common thread among not just previous roster, but just people in the league, I guess. Just love doing that. I don't even think it was necessarily like a trying to replace me thing, but it's just like, from what I learned, it's just like, just complaining, talking, that type of air about it. Even if you want to talk, like, or just complain, like, complain to your team. And it shouldn't even be complaint, it's just, like, an open dialogue. Which is, maybe that's the reason why, like, me and PJ are just going to look over stuff and then say our piece. About what we, like, specifics about what we think needs to be worked on. And that's just not what was gelling. But, again, that's why, like, having all this discourse about whatever is, I think, pretty irrelevant. No matter what was said, will be said, like, everyone wanted the team to work. Like, that team would not have formed if we didn't want that team to work. And I think inherently we learned, or felt early on, not necessarily learned, because I feel like we learned it now at this point, but felt early on that, like, things just were not working. We don't know why they weren't working, but, like, there was just, like, clashing of gameplay and ideas that we didn't even really, and it wasn't even, like, harsh clashing either. It was just, like, passive clashing of, like, thinking things should go this way or go that way, left or right. Differences. Game just didn't work out. I think that is just the inherent truth of it. I think that's the reality of it. And then you're gonna have just branching off effects of random talk afterwards to try to explain away what went wrong. Or came to you about those complaints? No, I'll tell you from the very beginning, a couple complaints was like, oh, you need to push this out, push that out. And we do some VOD review early on, like, yeah, okay, I see that, we'll push this out, push that out. I'd start doing it every single time. Like, any specific ideas or, like, whatever about doing something, like, I start doing, and that's that. Maybe there was more, but it seems like it was very infrequent about, or it definitely was infrequent about specific ideas. It was just a constant general complaint about, like, pace amongst our team, and that just, I gotta be honest, I think had nothing to do with anything. I think we were just making very poor plays as teammates for each other. And that's why I said, like, the diagnosis of what was wrong with our gameplay had nothing to do with, like, constantly being fast. Like, that, I'm telling you, that had nothing to do with it. Like, we just literally were not good teammates for each other. Because there were plenty of times where we needed to play slow, we just needed to play our lives, or hold a setup, or just have each other's backs, and we just didn't. Plain and simple, we just didn't. Whether it was going forward scenarios or standing still, like, we just did not, for whatever reason, things were just not clicking in our brains for each other. I think the concepts were overcomplicated. Honestly, no. Like, yes and no. I'm trying to think of, like, the way to put it. It funnels back into the idea, and this is, like, why there can be so many, like, yeses and nos about, like, you know, the VOD review thing. So the VOD review thing was, like, true, but also not, in terms of, like, we needed 2 VOD review. I'll be blunt, we needed 2 VOD reviews because we couldn't just play the game naturally together. We needed to figure out what we needed to do. But we did reach a point of, like, yo, we are actually doing too much VOD review because, like, things are just not working out, like, naturally. And so you run into, like, this weird dilemma of, like, not necessarily complicating the game, but, like, you have to figure out what you're doing wrong and then try to just do differently. Otherwise, it's like actual insanity. Like, you run into just a situation where, like, you're doing the same things over and over and over again, and, like, nothing is working out, and, like, you're expecting different results doing the same. Like, that is just not how things should be, nor, like, can they be. Plain and simple, they just can't be that way. This is just my honest take. I feel like I understand the reality of the situation is that I think we were still all trying, but in terms of, like, how the whole situation is being presented with all these Twitch chat like drama points. Like my take is that it felt like me and PJ were giving a lot in terms of like we're just being told that the pace is wrong and like we need to be faster, blah 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 blah. Like I was giving my all and constantly in terms of like I think I'm doing the right thing by listening to what they're saying, and I think everyone still tried. Like Kevin and Braden still tried too, but I don't feel like they took what we were saying seriously. If I'm being honest. That's what I meant whenever I said like early on the talk about pace was like pretty reasonable and I could see it. Like, okay, yeah, I see it. Like you're right. I'm getting slow here. Like I'm gonna speed it up. This is what I need to do in this situation. 100%. But then there's enough situations where like I say the same thing on the flip end to like anyone else. Like, yo, we need to just like stay alive here. Or we need to stand still. We have the hill, we have the ball, whatever scenario could call for. Like, we just don't need to do anything. And then like those situations go completely sour too. Everything all in between just was not working out. It's just the lack of trust, the lack of like actual communication. That's why I said like I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, they never tried. I just don't think that's true. Like ultimately, like it can feel that way, but like I don't think that's necessarily true. Like that's why I believe everyone wanted the team to work out. It's so cool. I don't think so. I don't think we are cool, to be honest. I'll give you the slightest rundown of what actually happened in terms of like I'm about the team. We're all about the team. I think so. I thought we were all about the team. Like we're trying our hardest. Maybe we're not trying our best, but we're trying our hardest to make things work. Is like where I think we found ourselves. And practice leading up into DreamHack just wasn't good, especially closer to the tournament. It just was not good, unfortunately. Like it got worse. And so like that's just like unfortunately an indicator of like where we're at. And show up to the tournament, get top 8. We lose the phase. We lose Optic. We win the tournament. Really should have won Optic. Blew it. I start like feeling out because I had a feeling like this just doesn't feel right. I don't know if I'm going to get dropped. PJ's getting dropped. Like, I don't know how things are going to go exactly. But I know something's going to happen or needs to happen. For everyone's sake. Like, ultimately, that's why I said it's like the teamwork aspect, the team aspect of chemistry and just vibing, gelling. Like, for whatever reason, we're just so far off from the mark. So, like, something's going to happen. Wait until after the tournament Sunday, just like any normal person does, and then you start asking around. Like, yo, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just, like, standard procedure stuff. But then, like, I see Braden saying that, like, people are on phase before the tournament even started. Like, that just rubs me the wrong way. Let's be honest. It's like, seeing that, like, out of all things, like, I can just move past, but that's something that just is a complete attack on, like, character. And just like actually disrespectful. And then people just start like people are used to these types of talks anyway, but we're like used to the idea of like this is just how things end up going inevitably. And before anything's official, like everyone starts blowing up. Like Suppress starts blowing up, talking to like everyone just in Twitch chats, like just quiet. It's like okay, here we are. This is just how fucking bad, like how bad of a spot Halo's in. Like we're so bored that this is just what we have to do, or feel like we have to do. Like this is the only exciting thing going on. Oh yeah, so then I was gonna say too, the reason I immediately start feeling out about just leaving, not a single word was said in a group chat after Saturday. We get knocked out, you know, midday Saturday, and there is not a single word from any of my teammates at all. Like literally nothing. And then nothing Sunday, nothing all of Sunday at all. And I'm thinking to my brain, like, I know these guys are in the back end somewhere saying whatever they're saying or talking to whoever they're going to talk to. That's how it is from my perspective. It's like, I already know something's going to happen. I'm just going to progress forward. Didn't think that about PJ, though. That's the whole point. I didn't know. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I knew our team situation was just scuffed. In what way, whether it meant me and PJ, or what, I had no idea. I just knew something was going to happen. And, like, I agree with it. I didn't know if, like, it was me getting dropped, PJ, me and PJ, like, whatever. I was like, there probably should be a change. And the easiest way, in my mind, was, like, I probably just need to leave. Like, that was my thought. And that's why I said I waited until after the tournament was well over and then move forward from there. Didn't hear a single thing. Still haven't heard a single thing from anybody personally from Stellar Nico. And at this point, it was like none of us had probably anything good to say to each other at the end of the day, I guess. Like, that's the way, that's the vibe that came off in terms of like how this turned out. Because I'll just tell you, just generally speaking, how this goes too is like if you want to start up a team or do this or that, like obviously you have to talk to people and get the ball rolling. But before you know what's going to happen or have something like, I'm not going to just like explode what the current thing is just to say, fuck it, like, you guys, like, I'm leaving. Like, you don't just do that. Like, that's not how things work. But the ball rolled and instantly developed into this huge boulder instantly. in terms of like how the conversations began into people just losing their minds and then just talk. Anything good come out of it? I mean, ultimately, like I said, like I thought the pace talk was like good early on. I never thought of myself as like some statue. Always feel like I just play the game like the game allows, typically. But sure, I could do a little bit more. And so I feel like I have been. I mean, I still got on the scrim. I don't think I really dreaded it. It was just like, because the problem with our team was like it felt like we could just hop off an 8 point. We still had plenty of moments, but you can't win off moments. Like you have to be a consistent force on the map as a team. And like that's just what we could not be one another, unfortunately.